Am I the a-hole for calling out my brother's lies about being the perfect parent at a family gathering? I'm Olivia, 38, from Pittsburgh. I'm married to Ethan, 40, and we have 2 kids, Ava 12 and Noah 9. Our family is far from perfect, but we do our best and try to keep things real. Enter my brother, Daniel, 42. Daniel has always been, how do I put this nicely, a storyteller. He loves spinning tales about how amazing his life is, how successful he is at work, and, more recently, how he's the world's greatest parent. Daniel and his wife, Paige, have 3 kids, Liam 10, Ellie 8, and Sophia 5. I love my nieces and nephew to bits, but let me tell you, their house is not the Brady Bunch situation Daniel likes to pretend it is. This all came to a head at our family's annual fall gathering at my parents' house in Lancaster. It's a tradition, we all bring food, the kids play in the backyard, and there's usually a ton of laughter and chaos. I've been looking forward to it, even though I knew Daniel would probably take the opportunity to humble-brag his way through dinner. As expected, he showed up late, making a grand entrance with Paige and the kids in tow. Sorry we're late, he said, flashing his signature grin. Liam had soccer practice, Ellie had dance, and Sophia had a little science fair prep. Busy. Wow, my mom said, looking impressed. How do you keep up with everything, Daniel? Oh, it's all about time management, he said, shrugging like it was no big deal. Paige and I have a system. The kids are thriving because we prioritize structure and discipline. That should have been my cue to let it go, but it didn't take long for him to start taking subtle jabs at everyone else. Over appetizers, he brought up how Liam won his soccer game last week. It's all about being involved, Daniel said. I make sure to practice with him every evening. You'd be surprised how much a little effort from parents can make a difference. The comment was clearly aimed at Ethan, who had just mentioned that Ava recently started taking up guitar lessons on her own. Later, when Noah spilled a bit of juice on the table, Daniel chuckled and said, "That's why we don't allow drinks in the living room. Rules are rules, and the kids respect them." It wasn't just me who noticed. My sister-in-law, Rachel, leaned over at one point and whispered, "He's really going for it today, huh?" "Oh, just wait," I whispered back. "He's warming up." Sure enough, over dinner, Daniel launched into his pièce de resistance, the parenting lecture. "You know, Paige and I were just talking about how important it is to model good behavior for the kids," he said, cutting into his chicken. "They mirror everything we do. That's why we don't raise our voices at home. Ever." I nearly choked on my drink. Never raises his voice? Was he serious? I've been at his house during one of Liam and Ellie's infamous sibling fights. I distinctly remember Daniel yelling so loud that the dog hid under the couch. "Really?" I said, raising an eyebrow. "You never raise your voice? Not even when the kids are fighting?" Daniel gave me a smug smile. "Nope. We believe in calm, constructive communication. It's all about setting the right example." I could feel my temper rising, but I held it together until dessert. That's when Daniel decided to double down. "Honestly, parenting isn't as hard as people make it out to be," he said, leaning back in his chair. "It's just about consistency and putting in the effort. That's why our kids are so well behaved. We don't let things slide." I couldn't take it anymore. "Are you serious, Daniel?" I said, louder than I intended. "Do you really think you're fooling anyone with this perfect parent act?" The table went silent. Daniel blinked at me, clearly caught off guard. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I've been to your house," I said, my voice shaking. "I've seen you lose your temper. I've seen Liam and Ellie fight like cats and dogs. And I've definitely seen Sophia throw tantrums like any normal 5-year-old. So maybe cut the holier-than-thou routine." Paige looked like she wanted to melt into her chair, and my mom gave me the classic "don't start drama at the table" glare. But I wasn't done. "We all love our kids, and we're all doing the best we can," I said. "But acting like you've got it all figured out and the rest of us are just lazy? That's not okay." Daniel's face turned red. "I'm not trying to insult anyone," he said defensively. "I'm just sharing what works for us." "Sure," I said, rolling my eyes. "Except what works for you isn't some magical formula. It's the same chaos and trial and error the rest of us deal with. You just dress it up to make yourself look better." Daniel stood up, clearly fuming. "I don't need to sit here and be attacked," he said. "Come on, Paige. We're leaving." "Daniel, sit down," my dad said firmly. "No one's attacking you. But maybe it's time to admit that you're not as perfect as you pretend to be." That seemed to calm Daniel down, and he reluctantly sat back down. The rest of the dinner was awkward, to say the least. He barely spoke, and Paige looked like she was dying to escape. I felt guilty for causing a scene, but also relieved that someone finally called him out. The aftermath has been a mess. Daniel texted me the next day, accusing me of humiliating him in front of the family. Paige hasn't said a word, but Rachel told me she privately agreed with everything I said. My mom thinks I should apologize to keep the peace, while my dad says Daniel needed the wake-up call. Ethan is on my side, but he also thinks I could have handled it more tactfully. You were right to call him out, he said. But maybe not in the middle of dinner. Now I'm stuck. Was I wrong to speak up? Should I have waited until after the gathering to say something? Or was it about time someone put Daniel in his place?